What's going on, guys? Mike here, the Fresh Rinse, on location at the Wash Mahal, doing an oil change. We have, let's see here, I think it's 2,405 hours on the Beast 8 GPM machine. Changing the oil. Let me show you what I got here. Got these having some connection issues. All right, is that any better? I turned off the house internet. Maybe this will work. Let me know if you're out there. How many hours has it been, Todd? Let's see if I can just pull up comments here. How many hours has it been? 100-ish. That's a month or 100 hours, so probably not 100 hours. I change it once a month regardless. Seems like it, thereabouts. Yeah, something like that. So, got our Fram back here, right? Gonna replace it. The question that people like to ask, Scott Ferguson, is what size are these valves? There's a 1/4-inch valves. Another question people want to ask is how many ounces of oil? So that's a great question. If your machine, your 8 GPM machine with the general pump, oh, forget about that. If your 8 GPM machine that with the 690 has the drain tube, right here, sorry, it's 58 ounces, 56 ounces if you don't have a drain tube. I have the drain tube, as you can see, so 58 ounces. So the 2 ounces for the volume of oil in the tube. So as you can see, it's not exactly level here, but we've got right at 50 ounces. And then I just have to open that up. Obviously draws right down into the tank. And I get the tank. This is what I use. Let's see, that's what Red Raider maybe. A logo on here, I don't think. But yeah, one of the tanks that I get or 5-gallon buckets that I get from Russ Johnson, Southside Equipment, so I order and whatnot. I just keep those. And then afterwards, when it's all said and done, one day this week, you know what, I'll wait until I get that filled up. So a couple more oil changes. But I also used my daughter's car. She changed the oil this week, so I use her oil as well. And I'll take all of that to AutoZone. I just set it at the back door. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do, but I just sit it at the back door. I've done that for years and years and years. So yeah, we have it. Always use the non-detergent lubricating oil, SAE 30, for your pump. If you have the 8 GPM General, which is the, if I'm not mistaken, it's a TSF 2020. Let's see. Yes. Gets exactly 1 quart of non-detergent SAE. Has to be non-detergent. What's up, Ricky? My man. I won't change this one yet because, you know, I only at work, so I don't use it nearly as much. Altogether, I have just under 500 hours on the 10. So I might not even change that the rest of the year, but I've got the same setup here for that. Someone's going to ask, nervous about like some kid or vandal just coming along and turning it. Not so much. Could it happen? Sure, it could happen, but not so much nervous about it. I'm bad, guys. I just get the cheap stuff. Full synthetic SAE 10W30 from Walmart. You say, Mike, you should get the expensive stuff. You're going to burn up your engine. Once again, 2,405 hours. So, and by the way, just a real quick thought on this. Let's suppose that you have, let's suppose that your average house wash for round numbers is $25, or excuse me, is $500, not $25. Let's suppose your average wash is $500. Just for round numbers. I've got 2,400 house washes, we'll say. My average house wash is around an hour. It might be more or less, but we're just, again, round numbers. So you do the math. That's $1.5 million on this machine. $1.5 million. And that's if it's only $500 average house wash or average wash. So what's often is that guys and gals will say, God, man, I could save $400 or $500 by going with a Predator or a lesser machine. Maybe it's more than that. And you're like, I could save a house wash. That essentially you're going to save a house wash, but you get a lesser motor. Now, I understand Harbor Freight motor, you take it back every year. They don't care. They encourage you to. I absolutely understand all of that. So, and if you're on a budget, then yeah, do what you got to do, man. I fully support that. You're mature. But if we're talking about saving money versus lifetime value, I don't think that there's an argument, Chad Arnold, about being a nicer engine. I don't think there's an argument there. So over the period of lifetime, when you're, and then we're not, Lord willing, we're not even close to a lifetime at only 2,405 hours, we're $1.5 million. When you look at $1.5 million bucks and you're trying to save 500 of that, that's a very small fraction. So my encouragement would be, if it's in the budget, just go ahead and get the Honda. And you know, they'll deliver it to you, it's all together. You know, to me, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. So yeah, go ahead and get that Honda if you're able to. And the first oil change is at 50 hours. Every oil change after that is at 100 hours. I do it once a month. I probably, this time of the year, certainly do not have 100 hours in the last month. Maybe I do. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I change it at the first of every month, and I'm a little bit behind. So we might say, to be crude, it's that time of the month, and I'm a little late. So, yeah. Illcast Games is asking a question. He says, are all your house washes on city water? 99.9% of the time, yes. With amazing flow. Yeah. I do a lot of farms, and you know, I shouldn't say a lot, but I'm out there on the farm from time to time, and just country homes, backwood homes that have wells. But even then, it just doesn't seem like I have much of a problem with flow from spigots. But Jazzy, as many of you know, has a 330 gallon tank. Right there's where it is. I hook in right here from the home, right? And I almost always, God's honest truth, I almost always, on every house wash, turn the corner from the house and see it overflowing, because I don't have any type of a shutoff valve up there. And the reason I don't is because it ends up restricting over time, and because of debris and whatnot, and I just get tired of fooling with it. I can step right here. I'm a short guy, so I step right here on this soap tank. Then I step up there. Then I can step up there, and then I can get way up there and clean it out. I'm not fooling with it. I don't have any kind of a valve up there that stops the flow from the home to the buffer tank. And so I just turn it off. I turn the corner of the house. I see it's overflowing. Oops, sorry. And I turn it off. And I never have a problem with water. I'm very blessed in that area. Illcast Gain says, I run a 5.5 on wells and can barely keep up. Do you have a buffer tank? And Apex Pressure Washing says, I like the oil drains. Well, thank you, buddy. I think that you're speaking of this right here, the valves. Almost done here. Probably am done. I'm going to have to pull this out a little bit. Yeah, see how clear those are now? So what I will do is this right here. Don't get mad at me. I'll put that in there. You remove the caps while it's draining so it has good vacuum, good flow. I'm gonna open this. And I'm just gonna turn it on for just a second. Don't get mad at me. That's it. That's it. You see what happened there? It actually started drawing oil. I need to get that up in there so it can drain better. Okay, there we go. So it's just that just allows it to circulate what's in the machine a little bit. It's not gonna hurt the machine at all just to run it for 5 or 10 seconds. Maybe not even 10 seconds. It's gonna get a little bit more flow there. My truck is not exactly level right now in the grass. So I wanna get as much of that out as I can. And then I'm going to change the oil filter. Let's go into the garage. What was I doing? Oh, we're going to take out the oil filter. Hoping to work on the Fiero soon. Just got to get a season where it's just like I can focus on it. Oh, I forgot to get my little bowl. Got my bowl. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Changing the oil. Doing a little oil change here. All right. Just like that. The wind's blowing here in Ohio. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. My wife and I went to Cracker Barrel for breakfast, actually more like a brunch this morning. We slept in. Man, I never sleep in. Got to sleep in on a Saturday. God, it was so nice. My wife is so beautiful. To look over at her at the Cracker Barrel, watch her eat those scrambled eggs. What a great morning. All right, we're going to drain that out. We'll let that drain for a minute. pH 7317, $4 and something at Walmart. Right? Let's read some comments here and then we'll put that oil filter back on. 55-gallon buffer tank, Ilcast Game says. Yeah, that's not enough. You're going to need more than that. That's why you're struggling there. MKVDRVR says, hey Fresh, how much SH do you average per home? 5-7 gallons on a 2-story home. HP Tubes says, he did the oil change in my truck the other day, forgot to unplug the catch pan. Felt real smart, I'm sure. Well, that reminds me, you always have to remember to check to make sure that O-ring has come off, because I have on my truck one time, not this truck, but a car that I had, I changed the oil and the O-ring got stuck to the flat edge of the oil filter drain there. And man, I had oil all over the garage. So I'm just lubricating this a little bit. I'm doing what you guys already know. You know how to do this. Then we're going to put that back on there, and we're going to put it hand tight. Hand tight. Move that for just a second. And that's all she gets. I don't do anything but hand tight. That's all she gets. All right. Look how brown our grass is. We haven't raining forever. And guess what? We'll turn that around for just a second. in the last 2 years, I've had 2 rain days, like rain out days. It's crazy. Bleach sprayer says I finally got to catch live. I do so few of them. Nobody says, what type of oil do you use? Regular motor oil or 4-cycle oil? 10W30, full synthetic. Let me turn that around. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I'm not overly familiar with how to do this. Just the cheap stuff. So I have my brother-in-law owns Napa Auto Parts, a store in McMinnville, Tennessee. And I asked him once, you know, what's the difference in motor oil? And this is what he told me. He said, all motor oil that you can buy over any counter is regulated by the government. Now, we don't necessarily trust the government, do we? That being said, in order for it to be sold, it has to meet certain standards, which most cars will be sufficient for, and certainly small engines. So he says just the cheap stuff. You really don't need like Motor One, or what is that? What it's called? Mobil One. You don't need the expensive stuff. So I'm not trying to save money. Well, maybe I am. I'm not trying to be cheap. I'm just, you know, I don't have to spend money just to be spending it. All right, so we're going to put the oil in here. I won't do that on camera. You know what that looks like. Yeah, there we have it. Let's see here. Nobody said, will it work on a small pressure washer? I don't know. I think you're probably talking about like a small homeowner pressure washer, Nobody. I don't know. I think you probably just want to follow manufacturer's instructions. Just not sure. But these Honda engines use 10W30 on both of these. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. It's been 18 minutes and 25 seconds. So jump on here real quick and show you how I change oil in my pressure washers. Mike, the Fresh Rinse. Oh, Crystal Clear Windows says, remember to shut your valves closed, brother. Yeah, it's a great, I'll do that right now. Because you're right, it's possible to forget. And if anybody can, I can pull those bad boys off there. They go into storage. There we have it. I'll fill that up. Hold on, I got, excuse me. Somebody say bless you. Bless me, Jesus. I will fill that up over the next couple of oil changes, then take it to AutoZone right around the corner from me. Thank you, crystal clear windows. All right, God bless you guys. Mike, I'm out. If I can figure out how to shut this off.